Give me 10 minutes and I'll give you a solution for your ringing ears. Hi, my name is Paul Toby. Welcome to Tinnitus Free Living. Thank you in advance for taking the time out of your busy day to watch this short video. In this video, you will learn what is the root cause of your tinnitus, what you absolutely need to do to feel better, and how you can literally speed up your recovery process. I hope it's okay if I take a couple of minutes and tell you a little bit about myself. Thank you. After 20 years in the music business as a professional jazz pianist at the concert level, I finally received some public recognition for my work and was nominated for Canada's highest music award, the Juno. When I went to the awards ceremony and they announced the winner in the Best Traditional Jazz Album category, Mike Murley, who just happened to be the saxophone player on my album, as well as 4 out of the 5 other albums, is the one who received the award. That didn't bother me at all. What did bother me was the fact that only maybe 50 people out of 1,500 who were there politely applauded as if jazz was the most inconsequential music on the face of the planet. Then, in that same year, 2001, 9/11 happened. And because of the economic aftermath of 9/11 and being that my record company was in close proximity to ground zero, I found myself without a record deal. And immediately I began to get really scared and worried. Why? Because first of all, I had reached the top of the Canadian jazz industry and it seemed like no one cared. And secondly, I was without support from my record label. Things began to get very bad. I began to have real financial trouble, which I always had but seemed particularly worse at this time. And then it happened. After several months of high stress, I caught a simple cold. Now, I'm not the type of person that gets sick very often, but this was a particularly vicious cold. And because of it, I found myself with blocked ears. You know that feeling you get when you just have too much wax buildup or you've just come out of the water and your ears are full? My ears were blocked and I couldn't hear very well. So I went to the drugstore and I picked up some Contact C, which is an over-the-counter sinus medication, took one, and went to bed. The next morning, at approximately 6 a.m., I woke up to what can only be described as a very high-pitched whine in my head. I didn't even know what that was. I had never experienced anything like it before. And I spent the morning and the rest of the day poking at my ears, hitting them and even trying to shake my head from side to side as if my ears were full of water. Throughout the day, it just seemed to get worse. What had started out as a curiosity quickly descended into the realization that this thing might be serious. The next day, I hauled myself off to the family doctor who promptly told me that I had tinnitus and there was nothing he could do for me. He basically told me to go home and learn to live with it. Well, how many times have you heard someone say that to you? Learn to live with it? If you're like me, that's just not acceptable. People who have never had tinnitus, such as doctors, can't possibly know what it's like to live with tinnitus day after day. Am I right? It was at that point that I began my quest for a cure. I was initially referred to an ENT specialist who told me the same thing. And over the next couple of years, I sought out specialists, healers, and all kinds of information. I also did acupuncture, shiatsu massage, ginkgo biloba, reiki, antidepressants, and seemingly every other product, pill, and procedure in the marketplace. I even spent $4,000 on tinnitus retraining therapy, which are noise generators which are supposed to take your attention off the tinnitus and put it on something else. However, in my experience, the technology does not support that claim, because you're always working with these earpieces and the problems that go along with them, such as batteries and adjusting the devices in your ear. So your focus is not on something else at all. It's actually associated with tinnitus. And while my personal struggle with tinnitus is going on, my music career was quickly descending into virtually no career. I couldn't concentrate, I gave up practicing, I gave up looking for work in promoting my music, and we, meaning myself and my young family, lost everything. So not only did I have this extremely loud, high-pitched ringing in my head, but my personal and professional life were very much in jeopardy. It was at that point that I began to get very worried, very depressed, and extremely angry. I'm not sure how your case of tinnitus relates to mine. I don't know exactly what you're hearing. I don't know exactly what you're struggling with. But if you can relate at all to what I'm telling you, you're probably going to want to know what happened to me next. After just over 3 years of struggle with tinnitus, I read a book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, a famous Brazilian author. It's a simple story about a shepherd boy who goes out into the world in seek of fame and fortune. And while I won't give away the ending of the story, I would highly recommend that you read it. It was the beginning stages of my journey from suffering to what many people, not just myself, consider today to be a highly successful career as an author, speaker, business owner, and musician. Which, if you think about it, is really the goal, isn't it? Success? Because eventually, as far as tinnitus is concerned, you're going to realize that there is no cure in a bottle, at least not yet. And while the researchers are discovering new things every day, your problem exists now, today. And I highly recommend that you don't wait around for them to fix your problem. The problem is within you. And a problem like tinnitus can only be solved by the same person that created it, you. No matter how you believe it happened, whether it was from loud noises, repetitive noise, illness, malfunction in the auditory center of your brain, whatever the reason, you are the one that created it. Whether you want to hear that or not, it has to be said. And as much as you want to blame somebody else, as much as you want to scream at the top of your lungs and say that tinnitus is not fair, and as much as you want to complain to others about your situation, somehow you need to understand that you are the root cause of your tinnitus. However, even though you may not completely believe that yet, I will tell you that this is a great realization. Why? Because you cannot change something unless you realize it and acknowledge it. So let's start with the realization. Let's say you're starting to buy into the fact that it may be you who started this whole thing. The question then would be, why did this happen? Well, I'd be willing to wager that your life was not going all that great before tinnitus. And of course you'd say that it was going a heck of a lot better than it is right now. And while that may be true, let me ask you something. Part of the human experience is to always desire something better than what you have. And my question to you is, right before you got tinnitus, how were things in your life? Were they great? Did you have fantastic relationships? Were you on high financial ground? How was your career going? Were you accomplishing everything that you set out to do in your life? Or did somewhere along the way things go awry? All I can say to that is, be grateful for tinnitus, because tinnitus will not kill you. And believe me, there are many other diseases that will, and there's nothing you can do about it. Tinnitus, on the other hand, is an annoyance. Severe, yes, but an annoyance nonetheless. And it will not physically kill you, and although many people commit suicide because of it, that's a choice that you make, not a choice that tinnitus makes. And you could play the waiting game. You could wait for somebody to fix you. You could pay a lot of money to some drug company for antidepressants and become addicted to them instead of tinnitus. There are many things that you could potentially do to fix your problem. However, since you are the one that created it in the first place, how would you like to hear about a real, lasting solution? My experience going from depressed and suffering from severe tinnitus to a highly successful life was a fairly short journey in length, just 4 years to this point. I have a solution that you could, if you are willing, open your mind to and get equally as dramatic a result. What you need is not to fix your problem. It's to take your focus off fixing something and put it on what you want instead of what you don't want. The human mind was created as a protection system. It wants to keep you safe. It wants to fix all your problems. If you notice the way the mind works, It's constantly seeking out and noticing problems. It spends all of its time wondering how things happen and blaming others for your problems. On the other hand, what if you were to learn a brand new system which doesn't focus on fixing your tinnitus, but focuses instead on changing your life and making it 1,000 times better than it was even before you had tinnitus? You see, if there's one thing I know for certain based on experience, tinnitus came into my life at my lowest point, after my career had been shot away. And it set me on a new path which initially, like most people, focused on fixing the tinnitus for the first couple of years. And then I started a new journey which began with The Alchemist, which changed the way I looked at things. And when I changed the way I looked at things, the things that I looked at began to change. I began to attract opportunity, and I took it. And just like a magnet, I continue to attract opportunity and plenty of it. However, it all started with me and the way I perceived the world around me. I can tell you this with 100% certainty. If you are afraid, angry, frustrated, and stressed out, not only because of your tinnitus, but because of what's happening in your life, only you can change that. However, you're going to need a little help. My program that I've put together is called Tinnitus Free Living. It is essentially a home study audio course and workbook, which helps you understand the concepts that I've been talking about and begin to implement change. The end result of the program will be to attract into your life exactly what you want, taking your focus off tinnitus. And although you may still be able to hear it on a quiet night when there is no ambient noise, essentially you won't notice it at all. You'll be too busy focused on the opportunity that will flow to you easily and effortlessly so that you can get what you want in your life. Maybe you don't see tinnitus as a gift yet, but with this program, you will learn to see it that way. What will you learn exactly? You will learn how to change your belief system so that you can change your focus. Many people believe only in what they can see. If that were true, how come you believe in tinnitus and no one else can see it? You must learn to believe it before you see it. What you will learn is how to leverage a new belief system to attract into your life something other than tinnitus to replace what is ultimately missing. You will also learn how you can feel better most of the time. If you look around you, most people do not. If there ever was a goal for this program, it is that. You will also learn that whatever self-sabotage, mental blocks, tragedies, or suffering that you've had in your life up until now, you will learn an extremely powerful system to not only get you past that, but into a brand new you. Here's how this program works. You download it and you listen to it and complete the exercises, the entire time keeping an open mind. Many of the things that I will be talking about in this program you have never heard before. Many of the things that you will learn are contrary to what you believe. And I can tell you that this is an extraordinary thing. Why? Because I'd be willing to bet that what you're doing isn't working. And I know that this does. The really great thing about this program is that there is absolutely no risk. Out of the thousands of people that have downloaded this program, only about 5% of them have returned it, requesting a refund, and it was given to them. You have 56 days to do that. That should be enough time to discover not only what the root cause is of your tinnitus, and how to go about changing your habits and changing your life, how to initiate the process of change. If at the end of 56 days you've got nothing out of it, simply request a refund and I'll give it to you. I do not need a story and I don't need any excuses. I would simply recognize that you are simply not ready yet. Many people are not ready for real change. But if you are seeking real lifelong lasting change, not only to feel better and reduce the volume in your head to a mere occasional annoyance, then I encourage you to download this program and get started. In addition to the Tinnitus Free Living program, you'll also get a 3-hour recording of a live seminar that I did for the Canadian Hearing Society, which holds important information that will help you. Information such as why your comfort zone keeps you safe, but also keeps you from what you want. Why blaming, justifying, and denying any bad results just won't work. How your emotional, mental, and spiritual state of mind will determine your physical outcome. Why you've been getting what you've been getting, and how to truly get what you want instead. How knowing what you want will not only produce less of what you don't want, but will help to heal your tinnitus as well. How the proven science of quantum physics can help you fix your tinnitus. You'll also get this special audio meditation designed specifically for tinnitus sufferers. This is a very powerful tool that will help you reduce your stress level, even if you have never listened to a meditation audio recording before. When you reduce your stress level, your tinnitus is guaranteed to reduce significantly in volume. You will also get another ebook called The 6 Top Ways to Reduce the Ringing. In it, you will learn 6 very powerful ways to reduce the volume of your ringing with very practical, everyday strategies that you can implement right away and get an immediate impact. And in order to keep you motivated and to carry out what is going to be requested of you in this program, I will send you an article a week for an entire year. These articles will focus on the minute details of how to stay on track and how to deal with potential setbacks, mental blocks, and other problems. Ultimately, the number one question that I get asked is, will this program cure my tinnitus? And while I'd love to say yes, I can tell you that while the program will help you learn to reduce the ringing to a mere fraction of what it is today, until the researchers figure out a way to rewire the brain, this program is your best solution that exists right now. You are about to embark on a new journey. Think of it as a journey of discovery, and perhaps even for the first time in your life, I'd be willing to bet that there are some things that you do not even know yet about yourself, the world around you, and your place in it. I will make you one simple promise. This program will help you feel better. And when your focus is on what you want, you will feel better. And when you feel better, you will attract more of what you want. And the things that you don't want, like tinnitus, will eventually, and maybe even sooner than you think, fade into a distant memory. You have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. This program has a total dollar value of $297. However, our current tuition is only $47 for the entire program and all the bonuses. Click the link below to order and get started immediately.